Power isn't handed to you on a silver platter. It's wrested from the hands of others. For centuries, philosophers sat in their ivory towers, spinning grand tales of how the world should be, utopias of reason, justice, and harmony. But one man dared to look at the world as it truly is, a chaotic tangle of hidden desires and unspoken fears. That man was Carl Jung, a Swiss psychologist who didn't just study the mind. He plunged into its shadowy depths, mapping the invisible forces that drive us all. Jung wasn't here to teach you how to manipulate people in some cold, calculated playbook. No, his gift was something far more potent, a lens to see the human psyche laid bare. Its masks, its monsters, its ancient echoes. This isn't just about how kings conquer kingdoms or tyrants bend nations. It's about how you, yes, you listening right now, can influence, guide, and if you choose, control the people around you, from the boardroom to the dinner table. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on Jung's forbidden wisdom, the mechanics of power that hum beneath the surface of every human interaction. These are the secrets the powerful might wish you'd never uncover, timeless truths rooted in the dance of light and shadow, shaping our world for over 500 years. So settle in, open your mind, and let's dive into the abyss together. Part 1. The truth about human nature. Imagine you're standing in a crowded room, everyone smiling, nodding, playing their parts. Parents, co-workers, friends. It's a pretty picture, isn't it? But Carl Jung saw something else. He saw past the surface, past the polite chatter, to the churning currents beneath. He called it the persona, the polished face we show the world to fit in, to be liked, to survive. But behind that mask, that's where the real story begins. In the shadow, the dark, messy, selfish part of us we shove into the basement of our minds, hoping no one ever finds the key. Jung didn't buy the fairy tale that we're rational creatures, carefully weighing pros and cons over tea. No, he saw us for what we are, walking contradictions, puppets of forces we barely understand. Men are so simple, a cynic once sneered, so ruled by their immediate needs that a clever trickster will always find a crowd eager to be fooled. Jung would have tipped his hat to that. He pointed to the collective unconscious, a vast unseen ocean of instincts and memories we all share, echoes of our ancestors whispering in our ears. Think about it. Fear of losing your job, your love, your life, grabs you by the throat and won't let go. Self-interest, more money, more status, more something, lights a fire under your feet. These aren't just feelings, they're archetypes, primal patterns Jung named, the ruler demanding control, the trickster scheming for advantage, the caregiver craving approval. They make us predictable, even when we swear we're not. Picture a nation reeling from an attack. Fear awakens the warrior, and the streets fill with cries for blood. Months later, the bodies stack up, and the caregiver steps in, begging for peace. Or that friend who swears they'll stand by you until a better offer comes along, and the shadow slips the leash. Jung didn't wag his finger at this messiness. He studied it, mapped it. Everyone sees what you appear to be, he might have said, but few glimpse what you really are. That gap between the persona's shine and the shadow's snarl is where power takes root. People don't judge you by your heart or your buried truths. They judge the mask, the symbol, because the unconscious hungers for archetypes, not facts. A leader who looks unbreakable outshines one who is unbreakable but stumbles in the spotlight. A coworker who brags about their wins eclipses the quiet genius in the corner. Grasp this, and you've got a compass in a fog most people don't even know exists. See the mask, feel the shadow, and the human psyche becomes your canvas. Part 2. Fear versus love, the mechanics of control. Now let's talk about what pulls people's strings, love or fear. Jung didn't frame it as a stark choice like some medieval prince, but but his work hands us the answer on a silver platter. Love. It's beautiful, isn't it? It flows from the anima if you're a man, the animus if you're a woman, those inner archetypes of connection, warmth, the glue that binds us. It's the glow of a mother's hug, the spark of a lover's glance, the camaraderie of a tight-knit team. But here's the catch Jung spotted in his therapy rooms. Love's fragile as a spider web. It needs both sides to hold it up, and when the shadow, that greedy, scared survivalist streak, rears its head, love snaps. Men are fickle, an old voice might grumble. Jung would lean in and whisper, because the anima fades when the shadow asks, "What's in this for me?" Fear, though? That's a different beast. Jung dug into dreams, myths, the stories we've told since we huddled around fires, and found fear carved into the collective unconscious. A primal thread tying us to every human who ever trembled at the dark. It's not about swinging a club or shouting threats. Jung would shake his head at that. Too much fear, and you wake the rebel, that wild spark in us that fights back. No, real control is subtler. It's the ruler archetype, calm and steady, laying down rules you know will bite if you cross them. A leader who lashes out blindly breeds enemies. One who says, "Step out of line and here's what happens every time," builds a fortress of obedience without a drop of hate. Picture your office. The manager who's all hugs and high fives, banking on the anima's glow, can't get the reports in on time. Love doesn't draw lines. But the one who keeps their distance, who says, "Miss this deadline and you're out," with the shadow's quiet menace, the work gets done, no fuss, no tears, just respect. Or a romance. The partner who could walk away tomorrow holds the reins, because the other's shadow dreads the void they'd leave. Jung's trick here is becoming an archetype others can't ignore. The sage, a rock they lean on, or the shadow, a cost they can't face. It's not force, it's fate, and the unconscious kneels to it every time. Part 3. Perception management. The appearance of virtue. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Jung handed us that gem through the persona, the face you paint for the world, the mask that hides your shadow's snarls. Control isn't about who you are deep down. It's about what they see, because the unconscious doesn't dig for truth. It chases symbols. Jung didn't push you to lie, but he'd nod at the power of it. A leader who seems kind, wise, unbreakable, channeling the hero or king, rules the room, even if their private self's a mess. The one who's pure but looks shaky, they're dust. The collective unconscious doesn't care about your diary. It bows to the archetype you wear. Symbols seal the deal. Jung spent years decoding dreams, seeing how a single image, like the caregiver cradling a child, sticks in the psyche deeper than a lifetime of quiet deeds. A CEO who cuts a big check on TV outshines the one who raises wages behind closed doors. The unconscious grabs the spotlight moment. Information's your brush here. Jung watched patients twist their stories, showing what flatters, hiding what stings. You can too. Shout your wins from the rooftops. Let your flops fade into the static. A politician crows about jobs created, not the debt piled up. A friend brags about that favor they did, not the strings attached. Perception bends to the frame you set. And don't get dirty yourself. Delegate the mud. Jung's scapegoat archetype is why. Tie your persona to the good stuff. The provider handing out gold, while others sling the shadow's sludge. A boss beams as they announce raises, but HR delivers the pink slips. A mom praises her kids' art, but dad grounds them for sneaking out. Your mask stays golden, their hands get grimy. It's not two-faced, it's playing the psyche's game, a truth Jung saw in every legend and confession. Part 4. The Prince's Toolbox, Practical Tactics. Now we're getting to the good stuff, the tools, the levers, the keys to the kingdom. Jung didn't write a dictator's handbook, but his archetypes, They're a treasure chest for anyone who wants to nudge, push, or downright steer the human soul. These aren't cheap tricks. They're deep dives into the unconscious, tapping into patterns older than civilization itself. Let's unpack this toolbox, one by one, and see how it works in the real world. 1. Strategic generosity, the caregiver. Go first up, the caregiver, the nurturer, the giver, the one who binds with kindness. Jung saw this in myths, gods tossing blessings to mortals, earning devotion. It's not about random charity. It's calculated, visible, personal. Imagine you're a manager. You don't just approve a bonus, you hand it out in a team huddle, names called, smiles all around. Or a friend, you don't quietly pay for dinner, you make a show of it, I've got you this time. The unconscious latches on, gratitude's a chain, subtle but iron strong. Jung knew people don't forget who feeds them. It's wired into the collective unconscious, a debt that pulls them back to you. Now 2. Calculated mercy, the healer. Next, the healer, the one who mends or cuts clean. Jung's therapy rooms taught him this. Leave a wound half open, and the shadow festers. Resentment, grudges, quiet revenge. You've got an enemy? Don't slap their wrist and walk away. Either heal them fully, bring them in like a boss giving a screw-up a fresh project with a real shot, or cut them out entirely, a clean break, no loose ends. Think of a rival at work. You either promote them to your side, full trust, or fire them outright, no lingering threat. Half measures? They're a ticking bomb. The unconscious craves resolution. Jung saw it in every patient who couldn't let go. 3. Manufactured crisis, the trickster. Here's where it gets fun. The trickster, the chaos maker, the one who shakes the board. Jung loved this archetype. It's the jester, the fox, the spark that upends everything. Crises crack the psyche open. Jung saw transformation bloom in turmoil. You don't wait for trouble, you stir it. A leader might cry, the competition's eating us alive, even if it's half true, pushing the team to hustle like warriors. A parent might fake a family crisis, we're broke unless we fix this. To herd bickering kids into line. The unconscious bends in panic. Fear and urgency make people cling to the ruler who steps up. It's not cruel, it's alchemy. 4. Strategic alliance, the mediator. Now, the mediator, the bridge, the connector, the one you can't bypass. Jung spotted this in shamans, guides, the ones who link worlds. You don't just help, you become the only path to help. At work, you're the one who signs off on budgets. No one gets a dime without your nod. In a friend group, you're the one who knows the VIPs. I'll introduce you, stick with me. A teacher might control who gets extra credit, see me after class. The unconscious bows to gatekeepers. Jung knew dependency's a leash, tying their needs to your persona's glow. 5. Predictive consistency, the sage. Finally, the sage, the wise one, the seer, the rock in the storm. Jung saw this in every oracle tale. People flock to those who know. You don't guess, you predict and deliver, again and again. A boss says, we'll double sales by spring, then makes it happen. Team doubts melt. A partner promises, I'll handle the bills, and does. Trust locks in. Even small wins. I said it'd rain, didn't I? The unconscious loves a pattern. Consistency paints you as the sage, a guide they can't question. Jung knew reliability drowns the shadow's whispers of what if. These aren't parlor tricks. They're keys to the psyche's engine room. Jung's archetypes, caregiver, healer, trickster, mediator, sage, aren't just ideas. They're the DNA of influence, coded into us from cave fires to skyscrapers. Use them right, and the unconscious doesn't just follow, it begs to. Part 5. The Modern Jungian. Subtle Control. Let's step into the now. 2025. A world where shouting orders gets you laughed at, not obeyed. Control today isn't a hammer, it's a whisper, a nudge, a shadow slipping through the cracks. The modern Jungian doesn't storm the castle, they rewrite the story. bending the unconscious with a finesse that feels like magic. This isn't about chains and thrones, it's about making people choose your path, thinking it's theirs all along. Buckle up, here's how the game's played in our sleek, slippery age. The trickster is alive and well, but they don't wear a jester's hat. They're in your inbox, your group chat, your Zoom call. Picture this, a coworker doesn't blast a slacker. They lean over, casual as can be, and murmur, "I'm sure there's a good excuse for that missed report, right?" No attack, no fuss, just a seed planted, letting the shadow of doubt sprout in everyone's head. Or a partner, they don't demand you stay. They sigh, "I was so glad to help with your car payment last month," and the unconscious flinches at losing that lifeline. It's soft, deniable, deadly. Control wrapped in a velvet glove. Then there's the magician, the shapeshifter, turning air into gold. They don't force, they frame. A manager doesn't say, "Do this or else." They chirp, "First to finish gets a day off," knowing the winner's already in their pocket. A friend doesn't push a plan. They muse, "Everyone's cool with Friday, you in?" And the collective unconscious drags you along. Nobody wants to be the odd one out. At a protest, they don't yell. They hand out signs, steering the chant before it starts. The unconscious loves a nudge. It's the ruler in sheep's clothing, guiding without a whip. But here's the crown jewel. Meta-manipulation, the Jungian endgame. Jung spent years on individuation, the drive to be whole, free yourself. People crave that freedom, but the unconscious? It's a sucker for a good setup. A boss grins, "Pick your project," but every choice funnels to their goal. Sales, data, whatever. A marketer coos, "Which phone's your vibe?" All three line their coffers. A spouse asks, "Where should we eat?" but drops, "I'm craving Italian," and your shadow nods before you do. The persona beams fairness. It's up to you, while the shadow rigs the deck. You feel free, but you're dancing their tune. This plays out everywhere today. In Silicon Valley, the influencer doesn't hoard secrets, they drip-feed info. "Here's how we hit that milestone," skipping the flops, their sage mask gleaming while the trickster hides the mess. On TikTok, they post a tearful "I gave to charity" reel, caregiver vibes, while the shadow skips the tax write-off part. In a breakup, they don't threaten, they sigh, "I guess I'll manage alone," and the unconscious twists with guilt. Or negotiations. "I'll toss in free shipping," they say, locking you into a fat contract. The mediator's gift hides the ruler's win. It's not lies, it's curation. A spotlight on what serves, shadows on what doesn't, and it's slicker than ever. Algorithms play trickster, feeding you ads you can't resist. "You deserve this," hooking the shadow's greed. Politicians play sage, promising fixes they half mean, banking on the unconscious's trust. Even your mom might play caregiver, baking cookies to guilt you into visiting. The archetype's ancient, the game's new. The unconscious doesn't clock it, it's too busy chasing the symbols: safety, belonging, strength. So how do you fight back or join in? Jung's answer is awareness. The shadow's not just theirs, it's yours. Spot it, the trickster in a sly dig, the caregiver in a loaded favor, the ruler in a firm no. You're not immune, but you're awake. Miss it, and you're a puppet. Strings unseen. See it, and you're a sculptor, shaping the clay of others' minds, or at least dodging their chisels. The modern Jungian doesn't bludgeon, they weave, blending persona's charm with shadow's edge, a craft as old as humanity, as sharp as tomorrow. Conclusion? The ethics of Jungian insight. So here we are, at the edge of the abyss, staring into the mirror Jung held up. He didn't flinch from the world's mess. A stage where persona struts and shadow skulks, where the unconscious calls more shots than we'd ever admit. A man who clings to goodness in all things, an old voice might warn, will crash among the many who don't. Jung would lean back, light his pipe, and nod. Ignore the shadow and it doesn't vanish. It crowns those who grab it. Knowing how control works isn't a fall from grace. It's a lantern in the dark. These archetypes, hero, sage, trickster, they're not good or evil. They're tools. A hero can rally a broken city or con a gullible crowd. A sage can shield the weak or blind the trusting. Power's a blank page. Your pen decides the story. Jung's big idea, individuation, wasn't about ruling others. It was about ruling yourself, weaving personas light and shadows dark into something whole. But that takes guts, seeing the psyche's gears, yours, theirs, and choosing what to turn. Imagine a leader who uses fear, not to crush, but to guard a fragile peace. Or generosity, not to trap, but to lift a sinking team. That's the flip side. Control can build, not just break. This wisdom's a flame. Warm your hands or burn the house down, it's on you. Jung didn't care if you played saint or schemer. He just wanted you awake, eyes wide to the dance of masks and motives. So, what'll it be? Step blind into the game or take the torch and light your way? The choice is yours, and that's the only power no one can snatch.